I'm Dani. This is the Miss Earth 2019 recap. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you know when new episodes come out, and also follow me on social media at Dani Walker. This is the first time that I have ever watched this pageant or recapped this show, but fun fact, I did judge Miss Earth USA earlier this year, so I got to help select Emanii to represent the United States at Miss Earth, so it was very exciting to see her compete in this pageant. First, I just want to say how stunning Miss Earth 2018 is. She represented Vietnam and she is so gorgeous. I also saw her at Miss Earth USA. I didn't get a chance to talk to her because I was judging and then she was backstage, but she is gorgeous. First thoughts on the show. There were 85 contestants this year and it was held in the Philippines. It was set up on a stage and in front of the stage was this pool and the judges were really far away. I thought that the pool was really cool, but if I were a judge, it would be a little hard to make my selections because I was so far away. I would assume though during the show maybe they had some sort of screen in front of them as they were judging so they could see the close-up shots that everybody else was getting during the online telecast of the show. If they didn't get to see the close-ups of the contestants, then I think that would seriously affect scoring. The theme of this year's pageant was flowers, and suddenly everything started to make sense when I found that out. All of the contestant headshots had flowers in them, and I was wondering why that was, but now it makes sense. It goes with a theme. I'm curious if the contestants got to pick out their opening number outfits because they were all very different. They were sort of all over the place. The girls were dancing a lot during the beginning of the production, and I thought that was awesome. It surprised me because usually pageants do not trust contestants to dance that much in an opening number. But then again, I was like, you know what? They're so far away from the judges. Probably doesn't even matter. One thing I really liked is that at the top of the show they were explaining what are the areas of competition, what's their meaning, and how much are they accounted for in a score. And that's something that Miss America has wanted to address in recent years. They said that people don't understand what Miss America does, so they want to make that more clear by eliminating gown and swimsuit. I don't know how that accomplishes that goal, but I like that this pageant just came right out and said these are the areas of competition and these are why these areas of competition are relevant to holding the title of Miss Earth. So if you want people to believe that your pageant is relevant or understand why the girls are competing in each area of competition, just tell them. If you're a fan of the Miss Earth organization, please comment Earth down below. I want to hear from you. I want to know what is your favorite thing about the Miss Earth pageant. While the girls were in the Philippines, the appearances that they made were highly focused on eco causes, and I thought that was great. Obviously, it goes with the entire theme of the pageant and what they stand for, so I really thought it was wonderful when I saw the girls getting involved in these eco causes and learning more about how they can impact change in their own countries when they go back home. One thing I was disappointed was when we were watching these clips of the contestants, some of them were shot and they were very well done, and then others seemed to be very low quality resolution or the camera was shaky, and that could easily be fixed with a stabilizer or gimbal as you're shooting images of the contestants. So I thought that that was just something on the production side that can be improved for the future. Since I've never seen this show, there was a lot that I was not ready for or didn't understand. So when they announced the top 20, I thought that the top 20 were then going to have this full out swimsuit competition, but they didn't. They basically were being judged as soon as they were announced, and they only were stopping in the center. And at first I was thinking these contestants are moving around so much for this top 20 announcement. And then as the show went on and they didn't come back out in a swimsuit, I was like, oh, that was when they were being scored. So honestly, I did not take very many notes when I was watching it. I wasn't ready. It really snuck up on me. I loved Guyana's energy when she came out for top 20, and I immediately wrote down, can she do Miss Universe, please? Because I think she would be phenomenal at Miss Universe. Loved watching her. She's just so stunning. I thought Portugal looked really put together with her hair, makeup, and styling. And on another note, I thought that the overall styling and the hair and the makeup of the contestants was not up to, let's say, the Miss Universe standard or even other national pageants. So my guess for this, and you guys can correct me or just share what you know, is that the contestants had to do their own hair and makeup. And I would also assume that many of them did not get hair and makeup direction from their own national pageant prior to going to Miss Earth. If you guys know anything about that, please comment that down below. In future years, I would like to see, I would say, a more elevated standard of hair and makeup for the girls all around. Poland had such a beautiful face on stage. That was my note. I was just like, wow, look at her. I thought it was great that they announced an Eco Video Award, and when they did, they actually showed a clip of what that looked like. I think so many times pageants give out sort of random awards that lead you to a semifinal spot, but for future reference, when contestants look at who placed or who won that award, they have no idea how to replicate what that person did or learn from it because we never see any content from it. For example, like a photogenic competition, a lot of pageants don't release the winning photo. So contestants in the future have no clue what type of photos work well in that system or to submit. The other award they gave out was the Eco Media Award, which qualified for the semifinals. So that was interesting. I actually really like that pageants, like for example, Miss Earth or Miss World, are giving out these additional titles or allowing you to place in a semifinal so that you can be seen by the judges during finals, not just based off of your preliminary scoring, because sometimes girls, barely miss that semifinal spot. And I like that they're giving these contestants who have other talents and skills that might be useful as a Miss Earth, but they are recognizing these young women and giving them a shot in the semifinals. Sometimes the talents that we have, they can't be displayed during swimsuit or during gown, but they are well suited for the job. And I think it's great that we're now seeing organizations create room for those talents that we can't always see on stage. Wow. Emanii, when she walked out for swim, stunning. That green Pageant design suit was so fabulous on her. It was a really, really bright, pretty shade of green. I liked that. And she's just so gorgeous and stunning. She's just so stunning. I remember when I judged her, knowing she had competed at Miss USA and been top 5, and you just never know how these girls are actually gonna look up close in person, and she is way more gorgeous up close in person than even on camera. One thing I noticed about Miss Puerto Rico during the swim announcement was that she was just so beautiful and had such a great camera shot. As always, Colombia's body was outstanding. Is there ever a Miss Colombia that doesn't have an incredible body that ever competes in an international pageant? If you're watching this episode on a mobile device, make sure you screenshot it, post it in an Instagram story, and tag me at Dani Walker with your thoughts. Now, let's talk about gown, my favorite area of competition. These dresses were different than what we see on the Miss Universe stage, and also I would say different just because each contestant is coming from a different country with different preparation, so it's another reason I love to watch the evening gown competition. There's so many contestants. Let's do quick gown notes. Russia had a really pretty white flowing gown. Chile's body looked great in her pose, and I want to say, who made that gown, guys? Someone comment below the designer of that gown. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. Loved Belarus's gown. It reminded me of an Instagram model's gown though. We see those kind of styles like the sheer dresses with the booty shorts underneath, but I still thought it was really pretty and it was stunning on her. She's so tall. How tall is she, by the way? Guyana, I was bummed out. I thought that the dress was really dark and it didn't make her stand out. Portugal, I liked her performance. I thought Poland was still very pretty. Ghana was wearing a beautiful white gown, but I just wish she would have smiled a little bit more during her center pose. England's gown, I was really just distracted by the hair and the flowers, it all being on the same side. And then Thailand's gown was really beautiful. I just thought that she's a really pretty contestant and I would have personally toned down the makeup a little bit, but maybe they were doing that because she was so far away from the judges. I thought that Emanii looked beautiful and that she had a really great close-up shot. I just wish she would have slowed down just a little bit on the last pose. Puerto Rico, now she killed it during gown. When I saw her come out during gown, it was just all the stars aligning for her. And that last shot of her beautiful smile at the end, like she's enjoying herself, she's having fun, and everything was just working for her that day. Colombia was beautiful. I don't understand why she made like the heart hands. I just don't understand why she did that. New Zealand had a great performance and the gown was just really great on her body. After the top 20 competed again, then they narrowed it down to a top 10, and the top 10 were to draw a hashtag from a bowl, which I've never seen this before. And I also wondered, why does it have to be a hashtag? Why isn't it just a word? What is the purpose of it being a hashtag? And then they just had to talk about it for 30 seconds. Kind of fun. I actually kind of liked it. It was kind of cool. And I was wondering, like, how is this gonna go over? And what if the girls don't speak English? And of course, Miss Russia gets announced first in the top 10. Her hashtag is hashtag Earth. She was basically struggling because she said, I don't speak English and I need a translator. And the translator was not right beside her on stage. The translator was across the pool. So I really don't know how Russia got through that answer. Great job pulling it together. I don't think I would have been able to do the same in a country where I didn't speak the language. So that was really, really hard, and I wish the translator would have been beside her. She basically talked about Earth is our home, it's where we live, and it's our job to save the Earth. Puerto Rico had a great one. Hers was hashtag respect, and she had a very strong answer. She said hello to everyone in the Philippines first, and then she said, basically, respect is what I stand for in my family and on Earth, and I forget the rest of her answer at this point, but it was pretty solid. New Zealand's was hashtag inspiration. Basically, she was talking about how it's what she wants to portray and what the world should portray, and that we should aspire to live by that. USA's was influence, and I was super impressed. Emanii, great job preparing for your onstage question portions. She said, influence is important to me. My advocacy is implementing basically recycling programs into elementary schools. She's been able to get them excited about taking care of the environment, and that's why she's here, to show them that if they want anything, that you can do it. So it was this combination of recycling, doing good things for the earth, and being an inspiring role model, and I was like, that was awesome and great. She spoke really well. Netherlands was hashtag flower, and I would not have known what to say for flower, but she was referencing the theme of the pageant, and I was like, oh, that's so smart. She talked a little bit about her national flower, which is the tulip, but then she got cut off, so that was unfortunate. Chile got hashtag woman, and she talked about how she's a woman, and she mentioned her own hashtag, more trees, more days, that she's planted something like 1,000 herself, and she wants to inspire that she is a powerful woman, something like that. I thought she did a really great job. Belarus, hers was hashtag religion, and that one seemed a little bit out of place for me, considering that the rest of these hashtags seemed to have a lot to do with environmental causes. And she did a great job, and she was mentioning that there are a lot of religions in her family, that she's an international person, and that you should respect every religion and everyone. And she got the audience cheering, which is why I think she advanced. And then Nigeria's was freedom. You can live and be whatever you want to be as long as you persevere. You can achieve any goal you want to achieve when you have the freedom according to God's will. And then she went over time, she said something along those lines. Poland had equality. She was talking about each of us is equal here on stage, and we should all respect one another and Mother Earth. Each of us should take care of ourselves and our friends and the earth. Czech Republic had hashtag technology, and so she was referencing that technology is the leader of our world now if you look at everybody on their phones. And then she was kind of talking about it can be good for our relationships and friendships, but that people are on social media a lot or too much, that we should lead young people and encourage them that friendship is better than Facebook. I think that the contestants did a great job, especially considering many of them are not native English speakers, so that's always a challenge. And I do though think that there was a great advantage to the contestants who did speak English. I felt that their answers were just a little bit stronger. So the final four were Belarus, Czech Republic, USA, and Puerto Rico, and they all got the same final question. I have to say though, Belarus looked so happy when she was being announced on stage. Her happiness for the top four just made me so happy. She seemed so genuine and sweet and sincere, and I felt like that's probably also what judges saw in her interview and what they might have loved about her. So that I loved that. So they were asking the contestants what would they say basically to world leaders or people of influence who don't believe that climate change is real. She said, Of course, a lot of people don't want to believe it's real. This is one of the biggest pageants, and we promote and share about these big problems, and I hope that those leaders see this show. A lot of girls have advocacies about climate change, so please, leaders, watch this show. So her advice was watch the pageant if you don't believe that climate change is real. USA was super excited too when she got announced. Once again, they asked her the same question. She said, we have to start with education. I'm getting my master's in education, and I think it's about awareness. A lot of people just don't know what's going on, so we have to educate ourselves and go to forums. I believe awareness of teaching others who don't understand to research and learn more about this issue. And I think that her words were fumbled just a little bit, and she got back on track, but I would say that her answer overall and her overall performance is what took her into the top 4, and I think that they took into consideration that last answer, and that's probably what bumped her down to technically first runner-up. Puerto Rico was saying basically the same thing as Emanii. She focused on education, but I think that her answer was presented in a more articulate way. She didn't stumble over her words quite as much, but she did get cut off at the end. So she said addressing this issue is more of a lack of a matter of education and also ignorance and people not wanting to inform themselves. We're living on this planet, which is our home, and we take advantage of it instead of putting back what it's given to us. Making leaders and influence engage with themselves and becoming better people is the most important thing to do. Last was Czech Republic, and she said, I think climate change is fact and we need to solve it because it could be a problem in the next years. I think that we have to solve it now because in 10, 15, or 20 years, it will not be back, or I think she's meaning like kind of the damage is done. So we have to solve it now. Let's do this because it's needed. At the end, Belarus was announced as Miss Earth Fire, then there was Miss Earth Water, which was Czech Republic, and USA was Miss Earth Air, and then Puerto Rico won and she was Miss Earth. So those were the placements. For those of you who aren't familiar with the Earth system, they have Miss Earth and then they have the elements. And the elemental court still go out and make appearances throughout the year. So Emanii, after she came back to the US, actually crowned her first runner-up at the national competition as the new Miss Earth USA. So Emanii is going to be very busy with this new international title. It's still a really, really big deal to get top 4 at Miss Earth. I thought that the show was fun. Like I said, was confused by the short swimsuit portion. I like that the girls just got to speak on a hashtag. That was pretty easy, and that they got the same question at the end. I really liked the format of everything, and I really enjoyed this show. This was fun, and I'll let you guys know when I was judging Miss Earth USA for the Miss division, I did not get to judge every area of competition. So I got to see the contestants in interview and I got to see them in gown and runway, but I didn't see them in swim. Also, there's other areas of competition for photogenic and social media scores and scores for their community involvement. There's so many different components that go into being selected as Miss Earth USA, which is so surprising to me. There's way more categories that are scored than that are scored at, for example, Miss USA. So it's really impressive when these contestants win these titles. I don't know if it's the same in every country, if they have the same scoring system, but I am sure that even at the international level at Earth, we were seeing awards for things like Best Eco Video. So these contestants are being looked at not just for swim and gown, interview, and onstage question, but for a lot more. So they're truly looking for this really, really well-rounded title holder, and I think it makes it interesting to watch and also a little bit unexpected sometimes with the results. But I thought that overall it was a really, really great show and I enjoyed it. What did you guys think? Comment your thoughts down below. I really want to hear from you, and thank you so much for watching this episode. I hope that you enjoyed it, that you are subscribed to the channel and hit that notifications bell so you don't miss any new episodes. Thank you so much for watching, and please be sure to tune in for next time, and also follow me on social media at Dani Walker.